Are we just getting an old age that literally we can't remember something we saw in front of our faces 2 hours ago?
It's possible. Welcome back, friends, to another episode of Movie Night with the Youngs. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Brittany.
And this week we are doing the movie Little Nemo. So we still are on our category of movies that scared us as children that shouldn't have. And this week has landed us with Little Nemo, directed by Masami Hata.
It's the last one. It's the last one.
Oh yeah, it is the last one of this category. So thank goodness for
God.
that, because I think we need some happier movies.
Yeah, that was a downer.
It was. But this is directed by Masami Hata, William Hertz, starring Gabriel Damon, Mickey Rooney, and Laura Mooney. Shall we get into it?
Yeah, but hold on. Fun fact, Gabriel Damon, who voices Little Nemo, also voices Littlefoot in The Land Before Time.
Oh, that's cute. What's funny is when I searched this movie on Amazon Prime, Land Before Time did come up.
Probably.
So did like Page Master, and there was a couple other movies that we watched as little kids too that came up along with this movie.
That probably could have fit in the category that we had. But wait, before you also get into it, I want to point another thing out. Mm-hmm. It's also written by Chris Columbus, who wrote Goonies and directed Home Alone. That's pretty cool.
That is cool. It was very different from those movies.
He also did like Harry Potter, Young Sherlock, The Help. Like, he's got some range.
Huh. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Well, now, anything else you'd like to add?
Carry on.
Before we get into it. Nope. So, the beginning of this movie is our main character, Little Nemo, who's sleeping in his bed, and he has a dream. And in his dream, he's like floating on his bed, floating over the entire city. He's having fun, and then ends up in another city that's completely abandoned. It's dark. It's like a lost city. Buildings are falling apart, and it turns into essentially a nightmare. And he's being chased by this train on his flying bed. Mm-hmm. And the train, keeps getting closer and closer. And at the end of the dream, he ends up in like his house. And his mom is there, which is this feels like an actual scary movie scene to me.
Oh, that was my note, is the nightmare is fine up until he actually starts screaming for his mom, who doesn't even acknowledge him.
Yeah. She's just like, what is those things? Those mixers?
Yeah.
She's just like baking or whatever she's doing, but she can't hear anything.
And she doesn't turn around. She's just like,
Yeah,
exactly. It's creepy.
Yeah. It's very scary. And he opens the door and the train's still there. Mm-hmm. Like trying to get him, and then closes it, and then he wakes up from the dream and falls off the bed. He's like, "Oh, it's just a dream."
Vivid dream, Nemo.
It was very detailed. Yep. And when he wakes up, he has his friend Icarus, who's a squirrel.
We should probably say this is a cartoon.
Oh yes, this is a cartoon.
Yeah, this is an animated movie.
I just assumed everyone in the world's watched this movie.
I don't think anybody knows this movie.
Probably not. Probably not. But actually, to bring another point, I asked you too earlier, is this a Japanese comic?
Yeah. So funny enough, I think, it's a Japanese comic strip from I'm pretty sure from like way back in like the early like 1900s. Like it is old, and I only really know that not for this. It was because Netflix made a movie. Is it called Slumberland?
With Jason Momoa?
With Jason Momoa. I cannot remember what the name of it is, but it just came out last year, and we watched it with our mom. Or I watched it for the first time with mom. I think you watched it before. And there's so many similarities. And then I looked it up, and it was like, oh, this is based off of the Little Nemo Adventures in Slumberland comic strip. I was like, oh, okay. But like, I don't think that if you knew either of those, you would have connected it to that movie.
Yeah. Well, and when I was reading the description before I played the movie, it said that. I was like, oh, I never knew.
I think so.
But, interesting. Yeah. But you can kind of see the Japanese, like the art and stuff, and the outfits to me.
Yeah, the way it's drawn feels very Japanese. But also, like, one thing I noticed, why is Nemo's skin white?
It's almost gray.
but at points it's almost great. But like I don't mean this as like, why was Nemo white? He could have been any. I'm not talking race wise. Like I'm actually talking. He has like actual white skin, like not skin tone, creamy. Like it was quite jarring the whole time. I was like, is he sick? Like, why is he like actually ghost white?
So I put that they were, when he switches over to like when he's in a dream nightmare state, their skin tone changes to like a gray.
Hmm.
And then when he goes back into the real world, it's a little pinker, is what I wrote.
Oh,
But
that's
I don't know if
interesting.
that's.
I do not think in the real world. I didn't notice that it changed versus where he was. I don't think in the real world it's pink. I think it's pure white. But I did notice that his skin tone does change throughout, and I was like, is that just
The hair color
again?
does too.
Yeah, is that just like Last Unicorn where y'all were just working on your own scenes and you didn't confer with what color you were using? Who
Could
knows?
be. You just put it all together and hope for the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
But when he wakes up, he has his friend Icarus, who's a squirrel, and there's a carnival circus parade going on outside of his house. And he runs out to his house and kind of joins in on the parade. And one of the people in the parade, which I believe is the actual king of Slumberland, isn't it?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is this is like another Wizard of Oz thing? All these people that are
Yeah.
in the parade end up being in Slumberland, but they just are like wearing different clothes. But they never mention throughout the movie that these people from his reality are in Slumberland when he gets there.
Yeah. Yeah. But he
Okay,
ends up
well,
riding on the horse with that man who's the king of Slumberland.
yeah.
And has a good old time, and he goes home and he's trying to convince his dad to take him to the carnival. And I feel bad because it doesn't seem like he has a very good relationship with his father.
He's got a mean.
Neither does the mom. Felt like
she's weird
because she called him. She's like Ralph.
Oh, yeah.
It just seemed weird to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something's odd there. But it kind of goes back and forth. He falls asleep again. He ends up sleepwalking at one point.
Yeah, because he's like stealing pies out of the fridge.
Yeah, which I really didn't get that scene because I couldn't tell if he really was sleepwalking or he was just faking it. I don't know. But he goes in and out of sleep this whole movie.
Okay, wait, I gotta stop you. You completely froze and there was like not even any sound. I think you gotta do that again.
You didn't hear me?
No, you were just like, because he.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Is there motion in my.
Yeah.
Okay. I was saying he's in and out of sleep this whole movie.
Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I said.
Cool. I thought you were. Okay.
But we're back again. He fell asleep and he gets woken up by they look like gestures that are coming through his room. And he meets Bonbon and Professor Genius, I believe is his name. And they're saying that he's been summoned by the Slumberland King to come to Slumberland. And they give him like a box of cookies as a present from the princess.
Yeah, which I wrote down. This kid is way too trusting.
Yeah.
He doesn't ask any questions. He doesn't question, are these cookies safe to eat? He just like up and trusts these people.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is they say the cookies are from the princess. Like it's a gift from the princess. He's supposed to come and like play with her is how they said it.
Which is weird.
Yeah. And he makes the comment of, I've never played with a girl before.
Yeah, I have that. Why can't you play with girls, Nemo?
Yeah, exactly.
And
well, his best friend's a squirrel, so.
Yeah, but then he was just like, I can't play with girls, even if she is a princess. And it's like, my dude, she's better than you.
Yeah. But he ends up going.
Because of the cookies.
Yeah. Takes Icarus with him. And they fly away off in those, what are those called? The blimp things?
A dirigible?
Sure.
I knew you didn't know the word.
I did not know the word.
It is called a dirigible.
And goes to Slumberland. And they get to Slumberland and it's this like happy what?
This is going real well.
Yeah, it's like this happy. It's another movie that was all over the place to me. But it's like this happy, reminds me of the Candyland game, like the board game. That's what it looks like to me. It's like a lot of color, a lot of fluffy clouds,
Yeah, very
balloons.
music. The thing about this movie that I think is very interesting, because that's true. Besides like the nightmare at the beginning, nothing scary happens until the last like 25 minutes of this movie. It's like
Mhm.
I quite enjoyed. I mean, I quite enjoyed the movie, but like I quite enjoyed this part. Like it is quite fantastical, and yeah, like you're saying, very
Yeah.
like dreamy, and
Mhm.
any kid would want to play in a place where, people are flying with balloons and animals of all
Yeah.
kinds. And
They're so I wrote down too, their outfits look like clowns, but they're not clowns.
yeah, I think it just leads into the fantasy of it all.
Yeah, I don't know, but and he meets when he comes into Slumberland, he also meets a character named Flip on the way
Ugh.
in. Um, Flip is kind of creepy. He's
Yeah,
always smoking a cigar.
I have Flip looks like a busted clown.
Yeah, he's creepy.
He's always smoking. He's like his hand again. His face is green, but his hands are creamy white. Like I don't understand.
Oh, I
Like,
didn't notice
is
that.
he supposed to be a clown?
He looks like a
Yeah,
clown because of the makeup. He's got like the triangles. Yeah.
yeah. But he just feels like I wrote down. I have such a negative viewpoint of Flip. Like he's always smoking a cigar. He just looks creepy and getting into trouble.
Yeah. Well, he is the mischievous one that is actually wanted by the Slumberland police.
Yeah, true.
But he comes into Slumberland and he's supposed to meet the king. The king is missing.
Hmm.
And Flip comes in and out. I feel like a lot of the scenes, like when Nemo's alone, Flip comes in and tries to get him to go somewhere else. And in that beginning, he looks like he's trying to lead him somewhere, but he doesn't get all the way there because they get separated.
Hmm.
And Nemo ends up in like this almost toy store area.
Very Duncan's
Wh-
chest from Home Alone.
yeah. But did you see that on one of the little houses in the toy store it says Bosco's?
No, like
Oh,
the
you didn't
card
know that?
place.
Yeah, that has all the yeah.
Oh, was that
I didn't know if that's
intentional?
I don't know. That's what
Oh,
that's what I'm asking you.
I didn't even notice it, nor did I.
Oh, yeah.
Is
That's what I
Bosco's a
noticed.
is Bosco's a is Bosco's a chain? I thought that was like a local
Is it? Oh.
Alaska thing.
Is it local?
I have
No,
no
can't
idea.
be. Can't be. Huh. I don't know. It'll be a
I have no
mystery.
idea.
Hmm.
Fact
Um,
checker.
yeah, we'll get right on that.
We'll get right on it.
But he doesn't know it's the king yet, but the king is playing on this train, the toy train. And you can tell like the king has a whimsical side, like he's really a kid at heart kind of to me.
He's Santa. He
Yeah.
literally looks like
Oh yeah,
Santa.
he does look like Santa. Um and they have fun riding through the train and he eventually tells them, I brought you to Slumberland because I want you to be my heir, which is completely random. I
Let's
don't know
talk.
how.
Can we talk about this for a minute? We already know that there's a princess.
hmm
Why is she not the heir?
Because
Your
girls
actual
can't be
blood,
the heir.
like your actual blood daughter can't be the heir, but you're bringing in this kid that you met for a second on some horse in a parade.
Yeah, exactly. It's random.
It's not okay. Let the ladies lead their kingdoms.
Yeah, but that's why he's there to become the heir, to accept all this responsibility, which I'm assuming he's there to marry the daughter too.
No, they never talk about that.
Hmm.
That's what I'm saying. Like this is some Disney fallen in love BS where you've seen this little kid for 2.5 seconds and then you're like, "Yep, he's going to be the heir to my whole kingdom. Forget my daughter. Bring
hmm
him in."
Yeah, yeah. Which I mean, I guess doesn't really have to make sense because isn't he dreaming this? Like he's pretending someone called him to be an heir of this kingdom.
Yeah, but like what disgusting misogynistic ideals are you hitting deep inside your subconscious, Nemo, that they're coming out in your dreams that you're like jump skipping this princess
The whole
to like take over a kingdom you've been in for like 2 seconds in your pajamas?
yeah. Oh, I totally missed that. That he didn't even get dressed before he left.
Oh, I don't even care that he didn't get dressed before he left. It's more that nobody gives him any other change of clothes throughout. I mean, he does, but then 2 seconds
Once.
later, he's
Yeah.
back in his PJs and like
Yeah.
also no shoes.
Yeah.
Like
His
he looks like a
shows
fat baby.
when he's walking on clouds.
I don't know. But when they meet, the princess does call him out on it. So.
Yeah, it is very true. It is very true. And after, well, you kind of just led into it. After that, she does meet with the princess.
He does.
And yeah, he does. And Professor Genius kind of takes him to the princess and he's like, okay, have fun. Like they're supposed to magically, I don't know. That's why I say, are they
But it's like
prepping them to get married or they're just doing like a play date? Like they're supposed to be
well,
friends.
they're doing like a play date, but I just don't understand why.
I don't know either.
Like
Because that's why it
it
makes more
does.
sense if they're prepping to get married since he's going to be the heir.
I don't know. It's weird. But I also wrote down when he walks into her little like penthouse, which is what the elevator says. It's like
Oh,
Princess,
and
whatever her name is, penthouse.
hmm.
But like when he walks in, she's singing and like playing the harp. She's singing with like the voice of a woman.
I actually put that the voice is completely different.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a deep set. It sounds
Adult.
like, yeah, it sounds like a woman in her like early 20s, mid
Hmm.
20s singing this song. Very great singing voice. And then the speaking voice of the character is like, "Hello, Nemo."
Hmm.
And she goes in and out of like a weird British accent
Yeah.
that like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
very interesting. She
I
kind of
noticed.
reminds me of Hermione from
Oh
Harry
yeah.
Potter.
Yeah. I noticed that too because I was gonna be like, oh, there's gonna be a huge age gap just based on the voice. And then she started talking. I was like, oh, she's probably the same the same age as
Yeah.
him.
Well, he's there for a play date. Why would it be a huge age gap?
Who knows? Who knows? But she's a little rude to him in the beginning when she meets him.
That
She's kind of like, why are you coming here in your pajamas and looking like a hot mess?
yeah, and what are you doing here with that rat?
Yeah.
And
Poor
it's Icarus.
Icarus.
But yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. She's very holier than thou feeling that has this huge Hermione feeling from Harry Potter, which now kind of actually makes sense if Chris Columbus wrote this.
Yeah. But it fades pretty quickly.
As does her accent.
Yeah. It does go in and out. I mean, it must have taken a long, I don't know, maybe couldn't hold that accent for very long.
Child actors, man.
Yeah. But she takes Nemo and Icarus around Slumberland, kind of shows him how it works, I guess. And it's another scene of that whole whimsical Candyland, bouncing on clouds, flying in balloons, happy
Butterflies.
music. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and when he gets separated again, I don't know how he keeps getting separated, but
Well, the first time he gets
somehow he keeps getting
separated,
separated.
this one is they pull him apart saying like, you got to go to school.
Yeah. Yeah. He has to go to learn how to behave like a prince.
Yeah.
And
Which
then
now you find out that he's going to be a prince because the whole time they've been calling him an heir.
oh yeah, true. He's going to be a prince of Slumberland. And there's like 40 people that are trying to get him prepared. That this reminded me of Beauty and the Beast for some reason.
Yeah, I believe that. But it also I don't know if you picked up on it. Maybe I'm just a pervert. Another fat lady
Yeah.
where someone's being suffocated by her giant boobies.
I did. I wrote that in my notes. I was like, Brittany's going to say something.
Brittany sure did say something.
It's the dance instructor. She has gigantic boobs, basically flopping around, and Nemo's being suffocated in between them.
And like not just one time, twice, to where
It's
Nemo
several
even
times.
yeah,
Yeah.
Nemo even says, "Not again."
Yeah. Yeah.
Brittany's catchphrase, that was a choice to put this 12-year-old boy in between these women's tatas.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Someone had to draw that.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. But he bounces around between the characters. Like she's a dance instructor. He has like people who teach him how to fence. Others.
What you were gonna say?
What?
What you were gonna say? He was bouncing around her boobs.
Oh, well, he was, but he's flipping between all the instructors. He's rotating. Learns how to fence. He has to get an education. Learns how to eat, drink, slurp soup. I don't know what he's doing. Soup. Yeah. Which was also kind of a random scene because it's so quick.
Yeah, it makes
it's just
sense.
it's like a musical number and then that's it.
Yeah.
We never reference him learning all the proper manners ever again.
Nor does he use any of the skills that he's learned throughout the rest of the movie.
Oh, true. That is true too. But Flip comes in and gets him again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this time he's more mischievous. He's trying to get him to do bad things. There's a random scene where he goes to the police department. Like, why does Slumberland need a police department?
Because they got to catch Flip. I think that's their only job.
I guess.
And they're sleeping on the job.
Yeah, they show like wanted posters of Flip. And he flies through Slumberland, knocks over balloons, sets off fireworks. He's just a mischievous person. Mm-hmm. That's why Professor Genius said stay away from him in the very beginning. Because he wants nothing to do with him. But he goes back to... I feel like I'm all over the place. He goes back to...
going swimmingly.
I know. I'm trying to remember this movie, and I literally watched it like an hour ago.
That's got to say something.
What? No, I have a very bad memory.
But it's not even that it's a bad memory. Like, because I also watched it this morning. Several hours ago. But like, there are hold. Yeah, like it didn't retain... Or the details of it didn't retain our attention, didn't retain our memory. So like that's got to be something. I don't know what the answer is, but
then again, another movie that we watched a lot.
I know, but like as kids, do you think we could have walked away and be like, so this is what happened?
Probably. I feel like we probably had this movie memorized.
Yeah, but are we just getting an old age that literally we can't remember something we saw in front of our faces 2 hours ago?
It's possible.
Gotta get some of that ginkgo biloba, whatever it is, ginkgo. Ginkgo.
Yeah. So King ends up giving... They're going back to the conversation of being heir, and he gives him this key. It's called the Golden Key, and it has like a dragon on it. And he says, here's a key to Slumberland. It will open any door in Slumberland, except do not open the door that has the symbol on it. And as soon as he says that, you already know what's going to happen.
Yeah, that was not subtle. Except this door, don't open it.
Yeah. But we end up opening it. But it's influenced by Flip, too. Flip kind of gets a hold of Nemo and shows him the door. And he's like, let's just take a peek. Let's see what's behind it. And he ends up opening it. They take a peek, and you don't know what it is yet, but isn't it the Nightmare King?
Well, yeah, I think it's like kind of how you're supposed to get into the nightmare. Yeah. Land.
Yeah. It looks like a storm lava with eyes at that point. Yeah. And he goes to the ceremony where he's going to be introduced as this new prince. Leaves the key in the door. Which he doesn't even... Yeah. He should have taken out, but whatever. And the king says, this is going to be our new prince, Prince Nemo. He gets to control the royal scepter.
Another plot point.
Yeah. Which I find it funny when he says he gets to control the royal scepter, like everyone looks like, really? Why?
Somebody even says, so young.
Yeah. And then he makes the clarification like, oh, no, only when he's, what does he say? When he's stronger and wiser or something.
When he's strong. No, when he's when he's wiser and physically more capable or something. It's like, slow your roll, subjects. Yeah. And everyone's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. He's not getting it right the second. Yeah. But he's going to get it eventually.
Yeah. And like the princess is just sitting there like, Like if I were her, I'd be seething. Sitting there and be like, this should be my scepter.
It's funny because her personality to me changes a lot. Like some scenes she's like that very strong girl, and then others she's not at all.
I think it's because it's the 80s. They didn't care to write complex female characters. They were like situations because it does age to her own. And then later on, she ends up like becoming like a whiny little damsel in distress.
Yeah.
I think it's just they didn't care to really write a good female character for any of the little girls out there. Because it ain't called Princess. I don't even know what her name is. Princess whatever.
Does she have a name?
She sure does, I'm sure. Let's look that up.
Camille. It's Camille.
Okay, Princess Camille. Wouldn't even know it unless we had to look it up. Yet we know who Nemo is, and we know who Flip is, and Professor Genius and Morpheus.
True. Oh, we never said the king's name. His name is King Morpheus.
I think you did.
Oh, did I? Oh, well. But while they're at this party, the nightmare actually gets out of the door and kidnaps the king and takes him to Nightmare Land.
Yeah.
Of course, everyone freaks out. Nemo's all sad because it's all his fault. Flip tries to run away.
This is what I wrote down. Yeah, Flip starts accusing Nemo, and Nemo starts accusing Flip. But I wrote down, why are people even surprised that Nemo opened the door when they've known him for a day?
Yeah, true.
They're like, how dare you portray it? You don't know nothing about Nemo.
Mm-hmm. Plus, Nemo didn't know what was behind the door, and I'm sure all of them did.
But that's what I'm saying. So why would you give some little kid that you knew for 2.5 seconds a key to every door in your kingdom?
Yeah. It's his
the math
dream.
ain't mathin'. That's true. That is true. This is all Nemo's doing. It's
his dream. He's excelling quickly.
That's true.
So this is another scene where like it flips back and forth where you think he's actually awake, but he's not. Like he keeps waking up back in his room, but he's not actually fully awake.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why he keeps starting from his room. That's another thing that I wrote. Like every time it seems like he wakes up, he's in his room again. He's got to start over back from his room and like travel all the way. Yeah, he's got to travel all the way there.
You got to that one checkpoint. If you die, this is where you start again, Mario. Yeah. Spyro.
It's very true.
My whole thing is that he just goes back into his pajamas and then gets back into the world in his pajamas again.
Yeah, that's just going to be his outfit for the movie.
I guess so.
But he decides that he's going to save the king from Nightmare Land. Oh, wait, let me backtrack for a second.
This is a nightmare.
Yeah, it is a nightmare. So let me backtrack for a second. Because when the king shows Nemo the scepter, he actually says like an incantation to show like what the scepter does. Which I'd like to say, Brittany and I like argue about this all the time about what the incantation is, and I'd like to say that I'm right.
No, you're not, Nicole.
Yes, you literally said all he says is pajama. He says more than pajama.
Nicole Chanel Young, how dare you? You know that you're lying. You say all he says is pajama, 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 pajama.
No, that's you.
Say, no. Nicole.
Nicole, I told you. He says more than pajama.
No, Nicole.
Yes.
Nicole, you are so lying. You're lying so hard right now.
No, it's not
true.
True.
Nicole, anytime you say this, anytime you say Little Nemo stuff, you always just scream, pajama, 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 pajama.
Because that's all that I can remember. That's not the incantation.
And then I say, he says more than that. And you're like, no, it's not. Wow. Okay.
No, we'll move on. But anyways.
Sure.
That shows you how exciting our lives are that we fight about this.
And that you're lying about it to our loyal viewers.
No. You are the one that says that. I literally said pajama's the only thing that I can remember.
Okay.
But so more than that.
Okay, but then Nicole, any single time you say it, you just say pajama, 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 pajama.
Yeah, and you say that's all he says.
No, yes. I don't.
Yes, it's very true.
Oh my goodness, Nicole.
Yes, it's very true.
Nicole,
very true.
Nicole. All right. Whatever you need to sleep at night, you little liar.
Oh my goodness.
Ahead.
Anyways.
I don't think I want to continue.
For the record, he says way more than pajama.
He sure does, as I've said for the last 25 years of my life. More than 25.
Are you only 25?
Well, no, I was like thinking like I didn't watch this movie out of the womb.
Obviously.
So for the last 30 years of my life, at least. Liar.
Anyways, he goes to, my glands are hurting now.
Because you're lying.
He's gonna go to save the king. And Flip is the only one who knows where Nightmare Land is. So they've got to save Flip, who's in the middle of being banished from Slumberland.
Yeah.
From letting out
Shot into
the
space.
Nightmare King. Yeah. Being shot into space in a little cannonball. But they save him. And he agrees to help him go find Nightmare Land with Princess Camille. I was going to say Princess Poppy.
With trolls.
With the princess and Professor Genius. And
which is now truly the no. I was going to say this is where the scary stuff starts to happen. And now we are definitely about an hour into the movie.
Yeah.
There's like 20
so
minutes
you're
left.
Probably right. The last 30,
30,
20 minutes is the actual scary stuff.
Yeah, which is weird because like that's the stuff I remember.
Yeah, me too. They get to Nightmare Land through a series of cloud flying, boat riding, another sequence of fun.
Sure.
And when they get to Nightmare Land, it's kind of it's dark.
Yeah.
And they have like they say they're goblins are the creatures that are in Nightmare Land.
Yeah. Why does your computer screen keep on turning off?
Can you see that?
Yeah, I sure can.
Yeah, because mine keeps turning off. I have no idea. It's probably the storm we're having right now.
Sure.
Is right. Our screens are freezing. My screen's shutting off. It's the storm. We're having a massive storm here.
Okay.
There's branches falling on our house and stuff.
Yeah.
But
or it could anyways, just be karma for you lying, but it's fine.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, they get to Nightmare Land and all the creatures are scared of the scepter.
Yeah.
Everyone is. I'd like to point out that they, after their boat crashes, like Flip and the princess kind of get into a little, not a fight, but they start arguing. And Flip says, well, you're kind of cute when you're mad.
Yeah, what a weirdo.
Yeah, and then she punches him in the face.
Yeah.
Which they should have just kept that side of her the whole time.
They should have. But also, just maybe a 40-year-old busted clown. Don't hit on like a 12-year-old.
Yeah, agreed. And they get to Nightmare Land. They meet another set of creatures, another set of goblins that are going to help them. But they're actually good goblins. Yeah, they're creepy looking too.
They are. And they can like meld into each other to make like one creature. They're called the Oomps.
Oh, I didn't even.
Because they sing a song and I actually listened to it probably the first time. And they're like, I'm Oompy. I'm Oompa. I'm Oompa. I'm Impy. They do. They do.
So they're like Oompa Loompas?
Well, they're not Oompa Loompas, but they're called like the Oomps.
I don't know.
Because they talk about... Yeah, okay.
They're the good goblins. They're the good goblins, though, that we know for sure.
Yeah.
And they know where the castle is, where the king is being held. And again... these bat creatures that are super scary. They remind me of the flying monkeys from Wizard of Oz. Come down, take Flip, take Professor Genius and the princess.
Yeah.
And Nemo is left. And again, Nemo wakes up in the dream.
Yeah.
In his room, starting point again.
Reboot. Yeah.
Which I don't know why. Except this time he's with the, what did you call him? Oomps?
The Oomps.
Yeah, he's with them this time.
But then like a new Oomp shows up.
Yeah, a bigger one that was left behind somehow. And they have to start again, back to the castle. And his bed, this time around, his bed doesn't start out flying. It like has those long legs, which for some reason, that reminds me of, like, that's what I remember from Little Nemo for some reason, is the bed walking. I don't know why. When I think of Little Nemo, that's what straight comes to me.
Yeah. Which is also, again, in the Netflix movie, something that they like really latched on. They took
from it. Yeah. But starting their journey again, they go make their way to the castle. And that journey to the castle, I think, is creepy. Because it's like you're going through a series of tunnels that are dark. Like, it looks like you're going through multiple worlds.
Yeah, like you're going through like wormholes, caves. Yeah. And it's all like really silent. That was loud.
Yeah.
My computer is telling me things and it was just really loud.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like quite silent.
And the colors are scary.
Drab.
The castle looks scary. The castle looks haunted.
Mm-hmm.
To me,
I really
it's like,
love how we're describing things. It looks scary.
it does
How
look
scary?
scary.
No, but like we always do this.
Oh,
We're like,
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
creepy, but we don't
Yeah.
describe why it's creepy. We just
It
say
looks
it's
like
creepy.
haunted abandoned mansion.
Yeah.
Is
I love the visual.
what
Love the
it looks like
visual.
it to me. It's
Yeah.
like a dark greenish swampy color floating in the clouds.
Detail. That's all we need. Thank
There
you.
you go. Yep. And this is the first time you actually get to see the Nightmare King, like what he actually looks like. And he looks like a giant gargoyle to me.
Ooh, that's a good I was actually gonna say, do you remember in Toy Story is it Zorg in the first one, like the Zorg doll?
I can't remember.
Yeah, he looks like that to me.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember. He looks like a gargoyle to me. But he has the red glowing eyes with the horns. He's like super tall.
Black.
Yeah, anytime they show him, he's not
Sounded bad.
Yeah. Anytime they show him, he's not like you never
not
see
clear.
him. Yeah, he's like in the back corner.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
With
Like
the shadows covering
he's
him.
always
Yeah.
in the dark in the shadows. Yeah, like you never see what he like if like I wouldn't be surprised if they like turned on the lights in this cave and he's like purple.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't tell because he's just like in the shadows
Yeah,
the whole time.
And he has like an army of goblins, but they look like gargoyles to me. Like an army of flying gargoyles. And
Yeah, I'm so sorry. You froze again. I don't know what you said. You froze 100%.
It has to be the storm messing
Something's
with
going on
our
here.
Wi-Fi.
Let's just watch this episode. Let's just stop. Rewatch the movie. Bring it back.
Exactly. Start over. Too late. We're too far. We've passed our checkpoint.
Yeah.
And
Good one.
I was saying he has an army of gargoyles.
But I feel like you blanked out for longer than just he has an army of gargoyles.
Oh, it wasn't longer than that.
All right, cool. All right. Touche.
And he sends the gargoyles as they are supposed to like get rid of Nemo, and they say that they do, and they haven't. So he gets all mad and he starts creating like this big storm, I guess is how you would say it.
Yeah.
Where like everything's being sucked toward him, including Nemo and his little friends on the bed again. And in the whole time in this scene, when he gets closer and closer to the Nightmare King, he's like he has the incantation that's written on a sheet of paper, and they like guard it with his life, guard it with their lives, or like I should say Icarus does.
Yeah, because it's more than one word.
Yeah. It's multiple words. And they make it to the Nightmare King, and he shows that he's got like the princess Flip, the king, all trapped in like this glass. Which, do you remember what's that movie? It was like the Supergirl movie, but I don't know the name. Do you remember?
Supergirl.
Was that the name of the actual movie though?
Yeah.
Oh, but do you remember how she's in like that glass? It's like that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Where she like comes down in the glass. What is it? Flying glass. Like,
yes. I know what you're talking about. It wasn't it like a glass ball that she like, and she gets into it accidentally, and it takes. Yes.
Yeah, and it has like the shards. Yeah. But this is off topic. But I have been trying to find that movie for a long time and have yet to find it.
It's got it. We found Little Nemo. Like I'm sure it's out there.
True. But that's what that reminds me of. They're trapped in like this glass.
Yeah.
And Little Nemo has to defeat the Nightmare King, and he's got to use the incantations in order to do it. And hey, don't you roll your eyes?
No, I'm rolling my eyes because he never really full strength at any point in this movie does like the proper full strength incantation.
He says each word, and as he hits each word, I feel like it gets stronger and stronger, but never says it in one sequence.
No,
is that what you mean?
Yeah, like it never gets to the full blast that like the king described.
How he just says it, like yeah. But it works, and he ends up defeating the Nightmare King with it.
Yeah, very anticlimactically.
It really is actually.
Like,
But the whole scene is still scary to me. It's still very dark.
yeah,
It's
silent. It's the
still
silence. They're like the only thing you can
yeah.
hear is
Is
the
it
actors
wind?
speaking. Oh, it's not even wind.
There's
It's just the
wind in
like
there, I thought.
I don't know. There's just like an eerie silence to it where I'm just like, this feels like it should be like really heavy music playing or something, and it's just not.
Yeah.
But you could also probably be confused uh why he just says pajama, pajama, pajama is because truly at this point, he says it so many times that like even the Mazama Jazamas, you're like, did you say
What'd
something
you say?
different? Yeah, like you're like, wait, you so it is oh, it is like,
Yeah.
you know, but
But defeats the Nightmare King, like you said. It wasn't a big,
mm-mm,
huge thing like it should be in the story.
yeah.
But he basically saves Slumberland by doing that. And he becomes the prince.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have something to add?
No. Don't.
And he
Mm.
becomes the prince. He saved the day. And I he never wake no, does he? Does he wake back up at the end? I was gonna say I don't think he ever wakes back up, or at least they don't show him waking back up.
Did you not finish the movie? Because you're skipping
Mm,
a lot of stuff now.
what? He goes back and becomes the
So,
prince?
well, no. So, yeah. So he defeats the king.
Yeah.
He's like passed out. Everybody else has come too, including
Oh,
Flip and all
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Then the king wakes him up with the
Saves him.
scepter. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, little Nemo, it's fine. Like, you open the door, whatevs. Like, you just saved
Yeah.
Slumberland.
Yeah.
So then he has like a whole full goodbye party, which the princess and him now float away and they do kiss.
Nope, don't remember
Wow,
that.
you did not finish. Okay. So I'll be bringing it home then. So they get back on the dirigible and they're leaving and Flip comes and says goodbye. And they say, Flip, get out of here. And then the Princess Camille says, like, oh, thank you. She says, I had a fun time. That's what she says.
Oh, I don't
She's
know.
like, she says, I had a fun time. And then she moves in to kiss him and he kisses her. And that's what wakes him up from his dream. And his
Oh.
mom comes into the room, is like, wow, you didn't fall off the bed.
Oh, yes. And then his dad is taking him to the carnival
Yeah, to the
/ parade.
circus.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
that's the end of the movie.
That is the end of the movie. Somehow all of these movies just didn't hit me the same way as they used to.
It's really, I think, poetic that the messiness of this is like what a dream is. Like a dream is so feverish where you're like my best friend Erin was just telling me today about a dream she had. And it sounds like my dreams where it's like, first we were in this mood or like we were in this room and then we walked in and we're under the water. Like it's like one of those things where it's like this episode just feels like a dream and not in a good way.
Yeah. As I said, it's all over the place.
It sure is.
Just like a dream.
Mm-hmm.
Because very rarely is your dream in sequence, I feel like. But maybe you dream in sequence. I don't know.
That's true. We don't know what other people dream.
True. I don't. Mine tend to be all over the place.
Mine are all over the place, extremely detailed. I can control them as well. Sometimes.
Oh, yeah, I can control them too.
It's called lucid dreaming.
I can also, now that we're talking about dreams, I can also fall asleep the next day and start where I left off.
Yeah, I think that might be a part of lucid. That's also another thing too, where you can like pick up. Yeah. But it's like you can pick up, but you're not necessarily in REM sleep or something like that. Like you're just, your brain is continuing. It's not your subconscious brain.
Interesting. That's pretty cool though.
Yeah. Like I remember I had a dream once where like the dream started changing and I was changing it and I was like, oh, this is me doing it. I must be in a dream because of Inception. And I literally just seen the movie Inception like a few days before. And I was like, oh, this is a dream because things are changing and I'm noticing them. Inception. Oh, and I remember that dream. I was in a spiral staircase and the stairs were changing. Inception.
We talked about this before in another movie that we did where you can't hit the ground or you can't die in dreams. I forgot what movie we were talking about, but yeah. Interesting. Well, with that being said,
wrap it up.
Yeah. Brittany, Do you think this movie is just nostalgia or it still holds up?
You know, I enjoyed it. It was weird. I enjoyed it. I think it still holds up. It's goofy. It's fun. It's like truly my only thing that bothered me is like, why are you putting your trust in this young boy you've known for 2.5 seconds? And why is the princess so poorly written? But I think it still holds up.
Yeah. I'm actually 50-50.
Yeah.
I could go either way, I think.
I mean, I definitely do think that it is interesting because, like I said, of a 90-minute movie, about 25 minutes of it is actually very scary. And that's what we walked away with versus the
That whole
fun parts of
beginning.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is very interesting to me.
Yeah, that is true.
Mm.
But yeah. Well, this is our last movie for the current category that we're on because we need some happiness in our lives.
Which we're not going into happiness with our next movie.
Oh, very true. We have decided for the next movie, next week, we're going to be watching Indiana Jones Temple of Doom.
We're just going to do some randoms.
Yeah.
Some randoms.
It'll be a random category. But we hope you all enjoyed this episode. Hopefully it was not all over the place as it appeared to us.
You did that
But,
thing again.
you know, maybe we can, what thing?
Hope you all. Sorry, it was
Okay, this is just going to be an episode of Brittany making fun of me. We'll just leave it at that. If you have not seen this movie, you should go watch it because it's worth a watch before Brittany and I cut out again. But hopefully we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Have a good movie night.
Bye.